Okay, I swatched a little bit of these markers beforehand because I'm not really going to do a lot of marker, but I'm just going to test out some new paint that I got. It's iridescent paint, and in my head, if I do the iridescent paint, I want it to look like it's glowing. So putting the light color against a darker color like the background of this tree would make it easier to see that it's glowing. So I'm doing a little bit of the tree around the head because this is the only place I'm gonna, test it out today. And then I will either work on it off camera or work on it when I've got more time. This one has a lot of ink in it, so it's bleeding into this type of paper. I'm trying not to get it on the little cutie. It's not easy because it bleeds so much. So it just kind of like feels almost like paint, like a liquid marker. Spreads out. Trying to keep that line clean. Get too close to the head. So what I'm doing is I'm using the lighter color that I plan to have on the tree around the area that I want to look like it's glowing. And then I'll use the darker color, and just a little darker than this one in the areas where the sun is shining, but it's darker than the immediate light that's right up against the tree. And then I have a warm gray for some of the shadowed areas that's going to be on the tree. This is going to be one of my first multimedia projects. And what I mean by that is using more than one type of art product. Like marker and paint, or color pencil and marker. Trying to make it where all the lines are going in the same direction so it doesn't look too splotchy. Now I might go over some of this with the color pencil later to try to smooth out the color, because at least the color pencil is not going to bleed into areas you don't want it to go. So I got the light color down. I won't be doing the darker color today, but I will be using the paint. Let's see. I got this lemon yellow flash. This is Shuttle Art acrylic paint, and it's supposed to be iridescent. It will look metallic, but the difference is that, and the light is supposed to get like slightly different shades out of it. This said that you can mix it with other paints and still get the iridescent outcome. I'm trying to see if there's, yep, there's a cap. Something in it to keep it from spilling out, so I don't accidentally splash it. This is like a stopper. Yeah, that was in there. Gonna use some of this with white. It's already a light color, and this is kind of my first time doing something that makes it something, well actually my second time doing something that makes it look like it's gonna glow, but I'm using a different media from what I normally use. Last time I used a highlighter gel crayon type over a dark surface, and it looked like the item was glowing, so it gave me the look that I was going for. This time I'm doing paint, and I haven't used paint to make things look like it's glowing, nor have I used marker to make things look like it's glowing, or a color pencil. Try to use a tiny dab of this because I'm only doing a tiny area. I don't want to waste paint. Dab of this white. Oh, I gotta open this. Man, I need the cap. Alright. Pausing it. Okay. The cap didn't go that far away, so it didn't take me too long. Tiny dab of white. I'm doing, it says premium acrylic paint colors. I believe I got this from this off of Temu. Like, it doesn't have a name brand on it. Pretty sure, because I have some other paints that I got from Hobby Lobby and they look different from that. Alright. New set of paintbrush comes with the Shuttle Art paint. Open it up here near the top where the bristles are. I'm going to take this tiny paintbrush because I'm doing this area that's pretty small. It's not super small, but the type of detail I need is small. And I don't want to mess up by using a larger brush and then not being able to correct it. A little bit more yellow, iridescent yellow. I don't know how I'm going to tell that it's iridescent since it's mixed with a different paint, because I don't really see it right now. But I do see that it's kind of transparent. It's not opaque. You can see the brown behind it. Now, in one way, it's kind of good because as I get further away, I want the light to be, I want the object behind the light to be visible. But right up against the subject, I want it to be harder to see the object behind the subject, because the light kind of fades a little bit from something that's glowing as you get further away. Kind of feather it out a little bit. Don't want it to be too hard of an edge. I see a little bit of the shininess now to add a little bit more yellow. Try to use direct yellow further out. I might have to use the darker yellow mixed with this one. There's one more yellow that's darker than this one to make it look like the light source is not as bright further away from the subject. Now eventually this will be like an aura around this little bitty on my subject paint. I kind of like that. It can kind of start seeing a little bit of the shine, the iridescence. Of course it looks more metallic right now, but if I move it, it does shift a little bit. It's kind of harder to see because behind it is a darker background. But as I get it a little bit more opaque and layer it, it'll be easier to see it shift. Try to mix it right in here and blend it just a bit. And then right up against, right close, I'm going to use just regular white. Swirl it just a little bit. I see the white, it's a little bit more opaque than the iridescent yellow. It's a little bit here on the edge so they're not completely looking like complete separate colors. Now that I've layered just a little bit, I can tell that the paper's starting to buckle just a little bit. This is only 120-pound paper. I do have some 140. It's more like cardstock, and trying the marker on it, it didn't really bleed through when I made it as dark as I could get it. It's a different sketchbook. That's a good start to that color. Let's see if we back getting a darker one from over here in my little cubby. Let's see if I can make that color look a little bit more like it's shining by fading it into a darker color. Of course, you gotta take the stopper out of this. I gotta remember to do the stopper before I start painting. Let me pause it. So this yellow is a little bit darker. You can see it on the camera. Put that right on the very edge. You probably have to lighten it a little bit with the lighter yellow. But that's the effect I'm going for. Just a little bit darker yellow on the outside. And I could tell because this is so see-through, I'm going to have to layer it again when it dries. So that part you will probably not see when I have to layer this. After it dries. I can see the bottom coat is starting to dry. Kind of see a line there where it started drying. Okay, camera cut out, but this is what it looks like so far. It still needs to dry, but you can see a little bit more of the shininess as it dries. I don't see the iridescent effect yet, but I guess it's because I need to have this a little bit darker in here so that you can't see the brown through it, and it might be easier to see that iridescence. Like right here where the paint's really thick, you can see how it's really shiny, and it changes the color a little bit. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it changes the color a little bit. So once this dries and I can make some more layers, it might be easier to see the iridescence. I'm also thinking that on paper by itself, like up here, where you can see it's kind of clear, and then you can see the shining a little bit because there's no other color there. That on a painting, whether you're just using just this type of paint, it would probably be easier to see. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up, and when I get a little bit more done on the tree, because this is a project that's, because it's, you know, this whole page is going to be filled with color, it's going to be too much to film all of it, but I will be filming parts of it here and there as I get it filled in, and you can see it change over time. Otherwise, I'll be doing some of this off camera because it will take a very long time to do this on camera. And this video is already pretty long, and all I did was just this section here. Anyways, thanks for watching, and to be continued. See you next time. Bye-bye.